Hey everyone, welcome to IJustWatched. It's your boys, and we're talking in a combo fashion WandaVision episode 5 and episode 6. The reason I wanted to combine these two episodes is because episodes 7, 8, and 9 are going to be ridiculous. So with that being said, episode 5, episode 6, let's jump into it. But before we do, I gotta hit you with the usual shenanigans, which is hopefully you like this video enough to hit that like button, click the subscribe to stay tuned to see more of our shenanigans, and hit that little bell so you get notified when everything gets released. That being said, we have questions, we have theories, we need to have this conversation. You know I've had my theories and my conversations and stuff like that if you've seen any of the previous ones. Just to double down and kind of, this is going to be my last attempt until 8. So when we talk 7, I'm not going to mention anything about a theory. I'm just going to hold it in and cry. But basically, yes, like I've said before, and I was kind of wishy-washy with it. It was something she definitely did. I don't think she knew she did it, but then she realized and she just held on to it because it's a safety blanket in a sense under the duress she was feeling. Outside source is also messing with her. We've talked about it before. Obviously, I think Mephisto's the big bad. I think Nightmare might be involved, not as the big bad. Basically, that's my thing. So I'm interested to see where it goes. Obviously, I think Wanda's the big controller, but something else outside of it is messing with her, obviously. That being said, what are your theories for this situation? Not like little ones with Pietro, Vision, the kid, none of that. Like her, the overall
theory of what's going on with Wanda. So for one, like we get to see in episode 5 where Wanda essentially goes into a sword base. She steals Vision's body. Unbeknownst to her, that Vision made a will saying that he wanted to be destroyed so he could not become a weapon.
Yup.
She didn't know that, so all she sees is just the
love of her life.
The love of her life being
torn into pieces
by a government. And so she takes the body.
Yep.
She goes to this place. We don't know why she chose this place.
Yep.
We don't know. Like you said, she probably didn't. She probably didn't think about it in a sense.
I think it was like
do it, but it happened.
Yeah, you go.
And then now she knows what's going on, but she's kind of letting it happen because, like you said, she doesn't want to let go of what she's already lost, and being the love of her life, and now there's there is other characters, other people stuck in there, but she sees it as more for the greater good.
Yes,
for herself.
And we can go into detail on that in a sec.
Exactly. I think what happened is, I'm still dead set that Mephisto is a big part of it. I think it's just me wishful hoping because Mephisto is a big part of the MCU. In the comics, he was a big part of Infinity Gauntlet because he was one of the ones that was just basically on Thanos' side, mostly because he didn't want to die. Because Thanos became the most powerful.
Also wanted all them souls and shit. You know what I mean? Exactly. Like he wanted death.
Exactly. So Mephisto being a big part of that, and also the fact that I want him to bring actual Ghost Rider, not that garbage we got in fucking.
Or you want Johnny Blaze?
Yeah, I want Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider. I don't want that garbage we got in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't want that. I hate that version of Ghost Rider. Even like in the comics. Yeah, the car's dope, but I just hate that version all. Since I want Ghost Rider to exist in this universe, I'm hoping that Mephisto is a part of this WandaVision nonsense that's going on. She wanted Vision to be brought back, but her being so emotional, it kind of made her power. Now I don't want to say her power was weak, but she couldn't focus too much on what she wanted to do. Mephisto, sensing that advantage of her, said, "I can bring him back. I can help you bring him back, and I can help you have a normal life with him." But he didn't tell her basically the
small print.
The small print. She gave her that, but then he gave her the small print, and so now she has all these people stuck in there. And I'm thinking these people are going to be souls that he can harvest. So that's my theory, the fact that he's helping her to help himself.
Of course.
And I know you said that Nightmare is probably a part of it as well. And I know in episode 6 we get to see we get the word Nightmare involved heavily.
Yeah, and they also
that makes me think that maybe he is involved in a sense.
Another thing to add on to that is that on a TV spot, the guy who's a narrator says dream instead of it was supposed to be like, but if you don't have the subs on, it sounds like a different word. And but he says dream. Like you put it on the someone explained it like he says actually dream instead of I wish I could remember the word right now. I apologize. But basically it was a TV spot, blah blah blah, and it said and he said it, the phrase, and you hear it, and it sounds like something kind of normal, like it's her messing with reality, blah blah blah. But then you see it and it says a dream versus something else. So that's why I think Nightmare would be interesting because I feel like Mephisto would definitely be involved, but Mephisto's the only way I can reference it to make sure everyone understands is he's Thanos in the chair when it turns type situation, and he would have because I mean Nightmare's not his lackey, he's not, and like in the comics, but I think it would be an interesting way to play with him here.
I think in a sense they're working together because since they're both Hell Lords, and there's a lot of them in the not MCU but in Marvel.
The only thing is that they hate each other, but I mean
most of the time they hate each other, but they always
They can always do whatever they want.
They can always do whatever they want. So because of Episode 6 being heavily saying Nightmare a lot, and not to mention that he is supposed to be in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, not to mention Scarlet Witch is going to be in there. Yeah,
and Doctor Strange is confirmed for the show.
Exactly. So I think they're going to bring I want to bring Mephisto, but I think now they're just going to focus. They're going to say that Nightmare is doing this, and they might give him the powers, the fact that he can do all this as well. But he's mostly heavily involved in just basically he can control nightmares, he can induce nightmares.
He's basically the easiest way to explain him. He's not quite identical, but think of Freddy Krueger in a sense.
Exactly.
Just a more demon-esque, powerful version.
Exactly. So I want because Mephisto is heavily involved into this show. Like we get Agnes, which is supposed to be Agatha Harkness,
which is his like lackey.
But now we don't. Now we know that there's like more like a love interest. But yeah, but.
She loved him. He don't love her.
Yeah. Let's be honest. In the comics, when she creates her babies in her reality, she uses Mephisto's it's shards of his I think of his essence. Yeah. So that's also like heavily like put in there. So that's why I want Mephisto to show up, because Mephisto is a gateway to more monsters, more demons, more of the like mystic side of it. Yeah, of course.
Like I'm gonna put a pin in that, but adding on to that, so episode 5 is really interesting on the simple fact that we know now that Vision is no longer tethered to her mind control, and where it really breaks in is 6, where now you get to see he's really trying to figure out what the hell's going on. The kids show their powers. We get a spoof version of the comic book accurate costumes, even though I would say Scarlet Witch looked fantastic. So if they could do a baller version of that, because she's missing the headpiece, I'll continue. It's cool to see the kids. We see them like little. I'm just gonna point little things. We see them break the wall, the fourth wall. Pietro notices when one of them breaks the fourth wall, and then you see Pietro. Why I keep saying just Quicksilver? It's so much easier to say. I don't know what the hell's wrong with me. We see Quicksilver do that Vision thing. We see him shot up and like dead. So when I saw that, it kind of added on to the whole like. I know the big question is like, is this introducing the X-Men because of him? I want to say it's a nod to the X-Men, but I think there's there's better hidden clues that are more X-Men related, like the Ray Johnson thing we read. Like,
okay, so if you go into whatever
Darcy.
Yeah, I like how you say Darcy, and I'm a Kat Dennings character.
Oh yeah.
So Darcy, she hacks into Hayward's computer.
Yeah, fucking by the way.
We see Ray Johnson, and then we pause it because we want to see who maybe this.
Yeah, we're like, wait, that sounds familiar.
And then Ray Johnson is an alias for I forget.
Crestel. He's Team X. He's the teleporting anti-aging mutant. If you saw the Shady Wolverine Origins movie,
Will.i.am.
Will.i.am.
Yeah, exactly. So he is an actual mutant in the comics, and that's Ray Johnson is an alias that he uses. Yep. And that's heavily like that's basically hinting a lot of like the
that connects you to Stryker, Sabretooth, Wolverine, like a bunch of Team X in general, but a bunch of like that's just like on the shadier side, like people who have fucked up backstories for the mutants.
Exactly.
If I'm being straight.
Exactly.
And then you see the Monica Rambeau thing with the blood.
Monica Rambeau has had her cells altered in a molecular level twice.
She's probably gonna be Photon, but now she's gonna be a mutant.
I think they're gonna change her to she's a mutant. Yeah. Just the same way they changed
Captain
Marvel. Saying that Captain Marvel is a mutant.
Let's be honest. We loathe that. Because Captain Marvel's not a mutant.
She's not. She's not.
Okay, she is not a mutant.
And the fact that, like, who is it that said that she's a mutant?
I read it online that they confirmed that she's the first mutant in the MCU.
And I hate it. I hate that so much.
I think it's dumb.
She's not a mutant, bro. It's just the dumbest shit ever.
No, it's a blood transfusion. and she took the name because she fell in love with Homeboy, who was like a guardian, and then like it's a whole like they really. I just hate what they did with the character because I truly loved that character originally. The comic book version, the classic comic book version.
You know what? She's a bad bitch in the comics.
Yes,
she is a definition of bad bitch. When
like
when you look at bad bitch, she's there.
It's her and a few other characters, damn it. And like my thing is like, why? I don't want to go on a tangent, but like, why change her up to make her this cool, crazy, powerful chick when she's already this crazy, cool, powerful chick from the get go? So I think like there's smaller clues there that are more mutant related.
Not to mention that Hayward is already hating superpowered beings.
Yes, like the FOH, the Friends of Humanity.
Friends of Humanity.
You know, and then so we're talking about how he might be mixed in with Stryker. Maybe Stryker's a sword agent, excuse me. Or like, you know, like there's...
Because the fact that
X-Men are coming.
Yeah, X-Men are coming, regardless. They even confirmed that they have a way of how they're going to introduce X-Men.
Yes.
And I think they said it's going to be later on in the series, but I think it's going to be much sooner than we expected to be. Like you said, like so like going back to the whole that he has a file on Ray Johnson. That means that he's already looking for people with powers.
Yep.
That means that there's already people with powers popping up throughout the world, and Sword, because of Hayward, they are targeting these people and monitoring them at the very least, monitoring them.
Exactly.
So
and that sounds like what Hydra was doing with Winter Soldier.
Exactly.
That's why they were going to try to shoot Stephen Strange and all these other characters. So it's like it's on the same basis.
Exactly. Except Hayward is more like fear mongering.
Yeah.
And he just detests superpowered beings, and like you say,
failed him.
Because they failed him, and I'm like like Monica Rambeau said, it's just a petty excuse of being a coward.
Yeah, because
all it is.
Like I get it, they did fail in those 5 years, but they came back, bro. Like it's like don't win every fight. All right. For one, this show is amazing. I liked it from the jump. I know he liked it from the jump. I liked the way it built. Watching
the first episode and noticing like how they're already doing like little hints like this is not normal. I was like, okay, this show is gonna be wild, and then it just gets wilder and wilder. And I mean, like, man,
it's crazy because episode 6 is ridiculous, but that just tells me 7, 8, and 9 are gonna be like unfathomable because like we don't know, like he's saying he's our Pietro, but she doesn't know, like she's confused to why he doesn't look like our Pietro.
Like she questions him a lot, like
she's trying to figure out like this is some shady shit. Who actually are you? And
the thing is, he's also acting shady because he knows that what Scarlet Witch is doing. He's like, I know what you're doing. I'm just making sure. Are you okay with are you okay?
Yes, like
because and she's like, well, aren't you afraid about this? Like, no, they're showing how powerful you are. I think that's dope.
Yeah, and he describes people's personalities are basically the same. She gave them better jobs. Families stay together. Like there was a methodical, there was a thought process when she did this. You know what I mean?
And I think Pietro. I think, like you said, this Pietro is not going to be tied into the X-Men. Yeah, it's not. I don't think it is.
It's a tease more for us.
It literally is. It's more like a tease and to throw you off the scent. To be honest,
sorry, that's chowder.
Yeah, that's just chowder. And I think this Pietro, since he's so aware of what's going on
and like abrasive
about it, I think that he, in a sense, is not the real Pietro. I think he is something involving with Mephisto or with Nightmare.
Yeah, I 100%. It's something more. There's more. Something there doesn't meet the eye. You know what I mean? Like,
and not to mention the fact that like Scarlet Witch blasted him.
She shot him.
Yeah, because he made a comment about like, oh, it's okay. It's not like a dead husband can die twice.
Yeah, technically would be the third time.
It's weird. It's getting much stranger.
Yes,
it's getting weirder. It's getting stranger. It's getting more crazy, and like now we just like we want more, and I like
100%.
But like the day we're recording this is literally the day before the seventh episode drops. So
that's gonna be it's gonna be exciting to see because we know it's gonna be wild. And the reason we're behind, that's my fault. I apologize. And then on top of being my fault, we're in Texas, so we got hit with the snowstorm, blackouts, no water. It's gross. You don't even want to know. But we've had to take horse baths, man, to survive.
It's been tragic.
Going back to the pin that you said.
Yes.
So you know how and he kills the kids to take back his essence. If that's how it ends, what if that causes her to lash out, creating this huge rip or tear in the multiverse, which is Doctor Strange 2 because she's in it, and the Multiverse of Madness. What if that's what caused it? Because she kills his kids.
Mm-hmm.
Vision's dead again.
Mm-hmm.
She just lost everything. And that includes Pietro.
Mm-hmm.
So then she has an even bigger explosion. Because now we're seeing her power level.
Yeah,
because originally I was telling him, I think the tear in the multiverse happened with the snaps. Because you had the Infinity War snap. Then in the Endgame you have Hulk, you have the destruction of the Infinity Stones, Hulk snap, and then the Iron Man snap. Like all these snaps made a tear. That was my thing. But when you said that, in my head it was just kind of like, because she's altering reality like ridiculously. So she see Vision die again. Mm-hmm. Pietro turns out not to be Pietro, and it's like he died again. Mm-hmm. And then the last thing she has is her children, who get taken from her by Mephisto, and now she blows up, and in this rage, like shit goes haywire. Doctor Strange shows up because they're like, bro, help. Like, look, we know she's a good guy, but right now she's no good guy.
She's no good guy.
Avengers, X-Men, First Family, Batman, Superman, caught everybody, dog. Like,
because she's a very powerful mutant. She's an Omega level mutant. She can alter reality. And permanently, apparently, like we read more about her. Like we were more to like basically confirm that we were right.
Yeah, we were trying to see how permanent her decision making could be.
No, it's permanent. Like it's permanent. And the fact that like you said, like it's like she uses 2 Mephisto shards to create her children. In the original comics, Xavier is the one who pulls her out of her pocket reality and says this is not real. So when that happens, the shards go back to Mephisto.
Yeah.
So I think, like you said, like I think that's a good idea of how like now, I think Mephisto lend her those shards, but I think at the very end he's gonna take them, and that's gonna like trigger something. I think she's gonna finally snap, and she could create that whole like tear in the multiverse, which opens a whole bunch of doors for anything possible. Also, another theory could be that because of this, she creates the House of M reality. Yeah,
in reverse, where she brings mutants to our reality versus...
So yeah, in a sense, basically a weird version of House of M. Because in House of M, she makes mutants become the dominant species. So obviously she can't do that right now because there's no mutants.
Exactly.
But she could do the reverse thing of like the no mutants to have actual mutants in this world. And then she creates them. Because at the end of House of M, she depowered about 99% of all mutants
pretty much,
in the whole entire world. Mm-hmm. Not destroyed them, just depowered them.
Like,
took the powers forever.
Like basically, they never had powers from the jump type shit.
She could, in a sense, do the reverse of that and just create mutants.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's going to be on an accident, on the same way like Rambeau, when she went through and then back out, she wasn't trying to create a mutant there. Mm-hmm. But now her DNA is being off, like it's reacting and it's changing. Mm-hmm. So I think it's one of those, because they even said like the energy, the radiation she's putting off is like Big Bang energy, like creation of life energy.
Exactly.
So I think that is your leak, especially since she is the only character they have that's a true mutant. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because no one else in this series.
Because like
MCU is an actual mutant. Her and her brother were the only 2 real mutants.
Exactly. Because if you wanna state the fact
miracles.
Because if you wanna be like, oh, okay, well, now they're saying that Captain Marvel is a mutant because she was created by the Infinity Stone. That means that Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver are now mutants because of the Mind Stone.
Yep.
And going back to a theory that I had long ago is that from Iron Man 3, we had the whole subtle thing about how Adrian Killing was saying that our brain has a space where it has to be upgraded.
Yep.
Or essentially our DNA. He said when he said that, I was like, okay, bet.
That's a small hole for a mutant plug-in later. Because we know they do that.
Exactly.
Infinity War. They talk about how her energy is putting off the same energy as the Mind Stone was. Mm-hmm. So in that sense, I can see that happening as her being the reason we get. I don't think every mutant, but some, and then it expands in another way. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, if you were snapped away and snapped back, that energy had to flow through you. So shouldn't that also kind of activate it?
Exactly. Overall,
so is that why Ray Johnson already exists?
Probably. And the thing is, like, there's so many theories of how, like, at the end of the day, everybody wants the X-Men to exist now.
We're gonna break the MCU into 3 things: space, supernatural, time, and on Earth. Like time, war, Earth. This is mine, but like just supernatural, which is like your Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch. All that shit where you get your demons, your hell lords, your monsters, all that shit. And then you get your space with your Eternals, Guardians, Thor, There's probably other characters that are missing. And then you get your Earth characters, First Family, Spider-Mans, Victor Von Doom, Wakandas, Mutants. Like you get so those are your 3 different things. And I think the main things is obviously your supernatural. I would say time and war for Earth, and space is gonna be like eternal. So it's gonna be sentient. It's gonna lead to Galactus, but is what I'm trying to get to. But I think that's gonna be the 3 things. Instead of having just one Thanos level villain, you're gonna have 3, and it's gonna be these weird mixes of characters. So WandaVision is the birth of the next step. It's funny because WandaVision wasn't supposed to be the first thing we saw, but it is the first step for what is the future of Marvel. Mm-hmm. And tiny little details that, yes, affect her show are going to be like Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, Thor, First Avenger. Little things that they mention paid off in Endgame. Mm-hmm. Little things that they mention here give us X-Men 2 years from now in a different movie. Give us the First Family with like the aerospace engineer that they mentioned in a year from now, because they already announced the movie. Like little things here combined with Falcon and Winter Soldier, combined with Loki. And if you think about it, all 3 of those movies hit those points. WandaVision, supernatural. Falcon and Winter Soldier, your Earth, time, your war here. Loki is your space and like godly shit. Like those first 3 shows literally hit those 3 points. Mm-hmm. So everything that happens in them, even though it's little, small, minuscule stuff, is going to have some weird payoff later, because that's just how they work. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
And I mean, honestly, people are saying like, so yeah, like this is whole gonna be like they're talking about multiverse. We get the first mention of a multiverse. First of all, we get the first sense of a multiverse. I think in Doctor Strange, if I'm not mistaken.
In the first one?
Yeah, I think so. I believe so.
I think there's a reference to like it's not all as what you see or something like that. It was something one of those.
Like I think the
first, ancient one.
Yeah. So the first time we get a mention of multiverse, I believe it is in Doctor Strange. Let us know in the comments if we're right or wrong. We'll probably look it up ourselves, and then we'll tell you.
I think there's a reference to it, but the most in your face
is Spider-Man.
Far From Home, where he's dead as like I'm a multiverse character, and they're like ha 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 that's fake, and I'm like no bitch that's real. Yeah, it was one of those.
Exactly. So because like we get Mysterio saying that he's from a different Earth. But he's not. He's lying about it.
And he just made that up. But how did he make that up?
How did he make that up? And, we get the whole... Well, actually, we even get more references because in Thor: The Dark World, we get the Doctor. I forget his name. It's Skarsgård.
But we don't know his... oh, my God. I do know it. He was with Darcy.
He actually talks about multiverse in this whole fucking...
Oh, yeah, because he even 616... and stuff. Oh my God, what's his name?
So there's always been a reference to the multiverse subtly in different movies. Yep. And like I said, the biggest one in the face is Far From Home. Yet they
literally call it a multiverse.
Yeah, and they're making it into a joke. But now,
Doctor Strange 2 is called Multiverse of Madness.
Doctor Strange is called the Multiverse of Madness.
Oh my God, what is his name?
And
keep going.
Dr. Selvig.
Thank you.
It's a lot to take in though because
it has to be done I think. Do it slowly, because as geeks, as people who read the comics, we're gonna catch that shit like this.
Exactly.
But if you're a person who just watches the Marvel, the MCU, you don't read the comics. I'm not saying that you won't catch it, but it'll be easier for them to be like, oh, I get it. If you kind of the choo-choo train spoon feed that shit, you know what I mean? And I think this would be a cool way to bring in. Like, you can bring back Captain America without it being Chris Evans, because it's a different one. Mm-hmm. But it's not permanent, but it'll be for, like, this one mission. Mm-hmm. Or an Iron Man by a different character. You know what I mean? I think it'd be a cool way to see these different versions and use them for, like, a little bit. And then they go back to their verse.
But, like we said, we still got 3 more episodes.
It's going to be wild, bro. I'm telling you.
And we got 3 more episodes. We got to see what happens. Yeah. We gotta find out how this goes about. We know Doctor Strange is gonna show up because I think they're gonna eventually see. I think.
We didn't even mention. I apologize. Yeah. Secret Invasion. It already got announced as a show. David and I have always talked about Secret Invasion. Mm-hmm. I didn't want it to be a show. I always wanted Secret Invasion to be small little details in the movies, and then do it through multiple phases, and then pay off later. Mm-hmm. But now that we're getting Secret Invasion, does that mess with Sword here?
It's so strange, like you said, like okay, so going into this tangent.
That's what I do.
Oh my God!
I create problems with no solutions. Oh, last thing, cataract.
Oh fuck! Okay.
Last thing. Because White Vision.
So, in episode 6. Sorry, I'm
I was like, damn, bro, you watched it already?
Bro, I'm time traveler. You didn't know that?
Take me with you.
Selfish. I always bring me to another tangent, but that's in a bit. So yeah, in episode 6, while Darcy's invading,
going through,
infiltrating,
damn,
hacking.
While she's going through director Dickface's shit.
Yeah, his shit. She finds a thing called Project Cataract,
and it says eyes only.
I
know it's his eyes only, but still.
Yeah, but it's a good play on words because cataracts, it's a disease that affects your eyes, it affects your vision, and the thing is, like, Hayward is tracking vision inside the hex.
Yep.
I call it the hex.
It's catching on.
Why is he tracking it? Why is he doing that? Is it because they already had him in the sword already, and they're just putting a track? Why do you put a track on something that you're going to destroy?
Exactly.
So this brings up to the point that he's tracking it. He's tracking vision, so he can reacquire vision, reassemble him, and make him into a robot that works for sword. White Vision.
Yep.
In the comics, White Vision is basically a reincarnated Vision without his personalities, and he's just a sentient robot.
Yeah, he's like a T-800.
Yeah, exactly. Just murderous.
Yeah. Get
Vision so he can rebuild him and take away and use him as a weapon.
Yeah.
Against Vision's will.
Okay, I'm just gonna throw this out there, and then we're gonna have to move on. I apologize. What if instead of White Vision, you get a White Vision, but it's like a weird version of Nimrod?
That's another thing. Nimrod is white.
Killer.
Yeah,
and he has like the diamond thing, like a mutant killer through vision. It's how they get like a scent.
All mixed into this big ass pot of gumbo, and it's probably gonna be fucking delicious.
Finger leaking, bro. This is it. I swear to God. Swear. Hey, yeah, like that. Look, don't strike me down. Because he's like, you're a liar.
You're a liar.
You made me like this.
Both are a lie.
You made me like this. It goes back to my thing. On Earth, you're gonna have war and time. The reason I say war is because I think you get Atlantis versus Wakanda. That's war. And then you have Latveria, who's gonna just come in and whoop that ass. So I say war in that sense. But then time, because all these people have to suffer, because Kang is already confirmed. That's all all he do with time.
He can't be a minor. He can't be just a minor villain.
Fucking top tier level. Like, he's a monster. Dr. Doom, top tier level. So you have that whole time and war situation. Loki's traveling through time. That attaches that. Loki also being a supernatural capable being, character attaches to the supernatural side. And then the last piece of the triangle is the fact that he can connect to the space and God side with Thor. Like these three shows, I'm telling you, it's a little trifecta.
It's the Triforce.
Okay, it's una trifecta. Es una cosa que va así and they connect.
It got 3 sides.
That being
unlike
said,
a circle.
Yeah, bro. Look, circles are like this, bro. This is like a triangle.
It's like a triangle. It's got corners.
All right, you see what I'm saying? Like, that's all I'm saying. But that being said, I apologize. But comments, questions, concerns. What are your theories? Do you agree with his? Do you agree with mine? Do you disagree? Do you disagree? What are you thinking? What do you think of the future of these shows? What do you think of what we said? Down below, let us know. Comments, questions, concerns, requests. We love hearing from you. Super excited for the next few episodes. Like I always say, until next time, stay safe, be well, and adios.
Goodbye.